introduce each other. My
Yes.
name's Laurence. You are
Colin.
Colin
Frank Mather.
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 How do you spell that?
M-A-T-H-E-R.
M-A-T-H-E-R. Frank Colin Mather. So I'm going to call
Mather.
you. I'm not going to call you anything because I never do. But you're Colin to me today.
Yes, yes.
Colin.
Mm-hmm.
So how come you're Frank and Colin? Who named? Who? How do you connect Frank to Colin?
Well, it must be my mum and dad.
Your mum and dad. They decided they wanted to give you two names.
Yeah. Well, it was the thing in them days, you know, everybody had two names.
Really?
Well, Lorraine, have you got two names?
Yeah, Lorraine Wendy.
Lorraine
She's
Wendy.
already in the film. Lorraine Wendy. Oh my God. Very good.
And my brother was Colin Gregory, but he got called Gregory.
He got called Gregory.
Mhm.
It's strange. My mum was Rosemary Mather, but she got called Mary.
But if I put C Mather, you know, like so on like social papers and that, I would get it back again. Because it's got to be F, you know, Frank.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
For dance and things
But
like that.
you always call with a second, you know, Christian name. Must have sounded sweeter, like, you know.
So you're obviously not from Yorkshire.
No,
I bet you're from Newcastle.
further up.
Oh God. Where is for? There's nowhere else. You're from up Northumberland.
Yes,
So near Alnwick and
further up, a little bit further
oh
up.
I know Berwick.
Ah,
Berwick.
got it. Mhm.
I like Berwick.
Mhm.
Berwick's very nice. The
Yeah.
massive wall.
That's right. Mhm.
I know people who had salmon shields there.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I never knew they existed till I went there and I found. We had one New Year's Eve. We had a big salmon brought out when a poacher friend had poached in this Berwick in the Tweed.
We're still there, I would think.
Yeah, incredible. So you're a Berwick family.
Yeah, well,
So the Mathers are
in that region, like, you know,
right.
if I mention a little farm place, well, they're out the conversation then, you know what I mean? With Berwick upon Tweed there, you know, well, it comes under Berwick anyways, you know, right back, and then you got Wooler.
Wooler, yes.
I used to work in Wooler.
Yes. And is there Collishiels and Coldstream?
Oh, I Coldstream,
Yeah.
Kelso,
Kelso, yeah.
Galashiels, you know, all them.
Dudders?
Duddo, that's on the way to Berwick, that.
Yeah. And there's
Dudder.
stone circle there, standing stones. There's ancient Neolithic standing stones around there, isn't there?
Yeah,
Which I've been and visited.
yeah, there's a bit of a tower there, isn't there? Dudder,
Dudder, that's it.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm very pleased. I know it. I love it up there. And then you've got the Cheviot.
Oh, the Chevets have been on top of them a lot of time.
Yeah. So what was your childhood like?
Well, I was brought up in the country.
What were your family?
Well, my father, he worked for the council, you know, as a roadman, you know, that's what they're called in them days. My mother, well, she was, you know, a mother
Yeah.
at home with the family.
How many of you were there?
There was 7 of us.
Oh my God. Busy lady.
Mm-hmm.
All boys.
Yeah,
All
all
boys?
boys.
Were they trying to get a daughter? Were they looking for a girl?
Well, I think that was the idea, I think, because
Yeah.
you've got to put a stop somewhere. You know.
Yeah, they expect something's not firing.
Yeah.
Gosh.
But
So-
I think that's the top and bottom of it. You know, they keep trying, like, you know. But that's what happened.
Yeah. And
So-
so you were living. What sort of place were you living in?
I was living on a farm.
Right.
We were living in a rented farm cottage,
Okay.
Barmer South Moor. It's near Lowick.
Oh right. Barmer South Moor.
Moor, yeah. There was 2 cottages there. I was born there. In the cottages, they're holiday lets now.
Right. So I can go and rent them.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can go stay in your bedroom.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, I'm sure you shared your bedroom.
Shared. Well, there was only a bedroom in the living room, and my parents, well, they slept in the living room. We had bed in the living room, and the rest of us had to get into a bed in the little room.
Really?
Oh yeah. But there again, they say you were all lads, so they
Yeah.
didn't
So
really
it was a lot
bother.
of fighting. Was it literally a bed? I mean, was it a bed or was it?
Well, yeah, I think it had iron ends. Yeah, it was a bed, but we used to, for a duvet, we used to use army coat.
Really?
You know, pull an army coat over the top there, so it retain the heat.
What, one army coat each? Or
No, just on top of the bed, just
For
like
all
an
of you?
eider-down, like, you know.
for all of you?
Yes,
An army coat
yes.
with buttons?
Well, 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 I'm saying they were still on the coat, but we must have pulled them off.
Now, this army coat, does this mean your dad served in the army?
No, he was in the home guard,
Home Guard. All right, Captain Mannering
just going around making a noise, you
with
know.
a wooden gun.
Well,
With a wooden gun.
yes, that's it. Hitting sheds and that, the time frighten the Germans.
Did much of the German stuff get up there?
Oh yeah,
Did it? Was it strategic up
there was 2 bombs. In fact, they were chased this night. You know, they had to start dropping the load. You know, the Germans
Oh, God.
to get away faster, and that's where the 2 bombs come from. About a mile and a half from the house.
Really?
All the dishes in the cupboard, you know, they all
Really?
come, you know, down.
Really? From a mile from that house?
So the craters, they're still there.
Really?
Mhm. But like the aerodrome was, well, you know, Millfield, have you heard of Millfield?
Yeah.
Well, there's a big aerodrome there, but now they've had gravel works in there now for 2 or 3 years. You know, they took about 6 foot right through a gravel. And they put all the land back, you know, landscaped it, like ponds and that, you know. But it was a big, yeah.
So your childhood was basically bird nesting, for
Yes.
eggs,
Hmm.
bit of fishing.
Well, no.
It seems the theme of the people of your generation. I mean, I'm only guessing because
Yeah.
I've had 40 miners,
Hmm.
and bizarrely, bird nesting and egg collecting has been
Well,
a big theme.
The thing was, because the thing is, you know, there wasn't any money, was there?
Yeah,
You know, there was no decent bikes going around, you know, bicycles and
yeah,
that.
yeah,
You just got up to anything.
yeah,
Mischief.
yeah, yeah.
Eggs. Yeah, you're right there, eggs. You know, holding each end, blowing them out there, you know.
Yeah. What was your best egg
They mean to save or eat.
to save? Did you get a peregrine falcon?
Oh, no. No, I hadn't a head for heights to go up there. Mine was frightening, like, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But there was plenty of birds, of peasweeps, you know.
Peasweeps.
A peasweep, what's
Lapwing.
lapwing?
Peewit.
Aye,
Lapwing.
lapwing, yeah.
Oh, quite. I like birds.
Hmm.
I live in East Anglia. We have Minsmere Bird Reserve, where Springwatch is often filmed from.
Oh.
So we have a lot of birds.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I like the likes of me, like say the countryside, hills, like Lake District. You know, I've walked the Pennine.
Are you?
I've walked the Pennine Way, and I've also walked the coast to coast.
Really? What, across from east to west?
Yes, from St. Bees, right across the Lake District, right across, and down onto what do you call that beach?
No, that's down south.
Yeah.
What beach is it? You'll know.
Oh God, it's on my tongue end there.
What, were east or west?
It's below Scarborough, Robin Hood's Bay. Robin Hood's Bay. You've got to go down there and have a little walk around in the sea.
Well, after your 150-mile walk?
That's, yeah, and then you put a tick to the box, you know. Thank God for that.
Robin Hood's Bay. So your father was working on the roads.
Yes.
I presume he wasn't a rich man.
Oh no, nothing.
No. So it was a poor life.
Mm-hmm.
What sort of cooking did you have? Was it a stove, kitchen,
Paraffin stove.
paraffin stove? So
You
it's
know,
smelly.
Yeah, you know, the funnel, you know, where the flame go. Then the oven you could lift it off and lift it on above the, you know, the flame. And
God.
that's how we used to, you know, do your cakes and scones, you know,
Yeah.
they were favourite. Gingerbread and scones, they were favourite.
Yeah.
Uh,
And where were you in the pecking order? What number were you in the sons?
oh, well, Cecil, he was the oldest,
Cecil.
it's Cecil. And then Willie,
Yeah.
well, Cecil, he's passed away, Willie, he's passed away. And then I come into the frame, I'm third. And then there's Derek. And then there's Ian, George, and Ken. That's 5, that's 7, yeah. So there's 4 of us still living, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
In that whole swap?
Smash it on the floor. Watch out. No, just get it like that and go bang.
I did wonder.
Thank you.
But
Well done. Here we are. We have a.
Sorry, guys.
This is a bronze.
is that heavy,
That's
is it?
the, yeah, feel it.
God.
So that was 36 heads ago. That was one of the first heads we did.
God.
So this is what you'll be looking like. This is what the metal will look like.
Yeah.
You can have him for an hour.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy.
Oh, he's, thank you.
He's a lovely guy.
Friendly, is he? Friendly.
You're a very friendly guy, yeah. Yeah.
But
Thank
Is that
you.
enough? Yeah.
getting back to Bombers House Moor there, well, everybody had a garden then. You done all your own producing, like so vegetables there, potatoes, everything.
Yeah.
The likes of now, if you want a garden, you've got to rent allotment
Yes.
of the council, but up there you had a garden.
And did you rent this house or did you own it?
No, it's a farm cottage.
Farm cottage. No. So, what was the relationship with the farmer? If your dad worked on the roads, how
Well-
come he was on a farm?
Now, the thing is, my uncle, well, he was a single bloke, like,
Okay.
and he made some agreement with the farmer. He had to come and do some work on the farm for us to get the house.
Oh gosh, that was good of him.
Yeah. So it's like a rented accommodation, like, you know.
So your uncle really was able to cover your rent.
Yeah. But,
And was that a common arrangement? Was that sort of thing?
well, the thing is, I was born there, and I went to school from there
Yeah.
at 5. But in them days, there was a car what used to pick you up. He never left the main road. You know, there was a private road coming off the main road up to where the farm was. But he wouldn't come up there and pick us up. He had to be actually on the main drag path.
Yeah. How far away was that?
It's be about a mile and a quarter.
So you were a mile up a track on,
Yes.
on a moor
Yes,
in a very remote place.
yes.
Sounds amazing.
Mm.
Sounds fantastic.
But-
Have you seen it? Have you been there? You can have a holiday there. We can sort that out, you know.
But the likes of there, it's a very interesting place around about because you've got Rounton Lynn. There's waterfalls there, and there's like a mass of rocks there. It's got Roman markings,
Really?
like rings, yeah. That's very interesting. In fact, it comes on to Ford Estate. You know, Ford Estate, that's a big
Ford.
estate, that.
Ford,
Yeah,
yeah,
Ford.
yeah.
Mhm. Joyce, you call the people. They own right back to Millfield, you know.
Yeah.
They own some land up there.
Yeah.
But Bombers House Moor, I can always remember getting in the car there, and he says to me, he says, you're 8-year-old today, aren't you? I says, yes. He says, out. He says, once you become 8, you want to find your own transport to school.
You're joking.
Aye, so I was left with them all waving out the car, like, you know, I have to say.
And what did you do from then on?
I had to find my own transport.
Was that
Yeah,
bicycle or a?
Well, if you had a bike,
I'm going to say.
it was walking.
And how far was that walk?
Oh, it was like, oh, it must have been about just over 3 miles. Yeah,
8-year-old kid,
yeah,
6 miles a day.
yeah. But, and then we moved from there to West Plain, actually on the site where the aerodrome was. There were big, massive felt huts, massive huts, and we got one of those off the council. There was no running water. You had to travel 3/4 of a mile with a container on wheels to get to the standpipe.
Carry on looking forward.
Yeah.
Really? So you had a container on a trolley?
Yes, had to go right down to the hangar, to where the standpipe was, and fill the barrel up, and then pull it all the way back home.
Good God.
And there was no flush toilets in them days, even at Bournemouth Moor. The posh name for a toilet was a netty.
A netty?
You ever heard of a netty, have you?
No.
Huh? Oh, God. Oh. Well, it's a pail,
Right.
and when the pail, you know, when it got full there, someone had to volunteer to go away and dig a big hole to bury it. And then you had to fetch this pail back.
Right.
And
So you had a pail of water. You had a pail in which you did your business.
Yes.
That had to be carried away.
And
Someone had to dig a hole.
Yes.
And then bury it in a hole.
Yes.
Cover it up and bring the bucket back.
That's right.
Bloody hell.
We don't know the ball, do we?
Huh?
Christ. Jesus.
And if you hadn't the money to buy a newspaper, well, you just had to use grass, you know what I mean? You know, times were hard in them days. Times were hard in them days.
Yeah.
But they were good, like, you know.
God's sakes. So 7 of you, that bucket gets filled up pretty quick.
Well, and there was no electric light, you know.
Yeah?
Wow. Like, come me, frightened to go outside in the dark. But when we moved house from there, we moved to a campsite. It's where billets were and where the RAF was stationed. Well, there we got a house. Well, it was, well, a house just had asbestos roofs and that.
So let's just go back to this the felt one. Is this the felt?
Yeah, we moved from the felt one.
How long were you there for?
I would say about 3 years.
Good Lord. So what age were you then? Were you about 12, 13?
I might be a bit younger because when we moved to South Plain onto this estate, it is just all like, there were just single brick buildings, asbestos roofs, but we got accommodation with running water,
Really?
a bathroom,
How did you manage
and
that?
electric. God, electric.
Oh God, so what was it like moving into a place like that? What did you
Oh, God. Christmas all come at once.
do? Good God. So you could press a switch.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And there was actually a school on that estate.
Wow. So this is brave New Britain. This was like Britain rebuilding itself after the war.
Yeah.
These are the new council estates.
Yeah, well, the council, well, he had to move into these places, and they were actually building. They were, building on the villages and that.
Yeah.
And then when your time come along, they would move you out into a modern property, into a nice housing estate. But all times were hard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And all this time, your dad's building roads.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And is he happy in his work?
Well, it wasn't only just building roads. They used to cut the sides, where now you see the grass growing actually onto the tar. Well, you used to put the lines along, cut along with a spade, and then, take it away. And they used to keep all the, the ditches, where the water used to drain off.
Yeah.
They used to keep all them clean. Oh, there was no machines.
So he was more maintenance.
Well, this is it, if you could see. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was no machines for digging out. And then coming to cut the grass, I had to use a scythe. Oh, times were hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, your mum must have been really chuffed. Did you have a bathroom? In your new
Yes,
place?
yes. When we moved from this big felt hut to South Plain, you know, where there were all brick buildings and that, they were just single brick, but they were very cold.
And what was the rest of the community like there? Who were the people moving in? Who were they?
It was, well, they were in the same position as us. They moved from these big felt huts and all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was like groups of these huts all over, like, you know.
And what would their occupations be? What was their main kind of...
All them, well, they were builders and electricians there and farm labourers. And, you know, because you had a job on the farm, it didn't say you got a house every time. You see, you got if you worked on the farm, you got a house. That was in with the contract, you know, free rent. And you also got a ton of potatoes every year. That was in with the contract at all.
A ton of potatoes. What, dumped at one go?
Yes.
What, on the doorstep?
Yes.
A pile of potatoes? Bloody hell. That's thoughtful.
Oh, God, it was.
Right, so your mum
Huh?
opens the door and there's a mountain of potatoes at the front door.
No.
She just picks one off, makes some chips. I mean, what did you do? Do you store them all up? Do you put them
Yeah,
in?
yeah, store them, like, you know. But it is no worse than the miners getting coal dumped
Yeah.
in the street.
Yeah. Yeah.
These would just come and dump it in the street there, and away they would go. Mm. But,
Incredible. So potato was your main diet?
yeah, there would be, because they were the cheapest, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
If you had potatoes lying around, you could make a meal, couldn't you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, chips there, you could fry them,
Yeah.
fritters, you know, anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you lived, obviously, life cheered up there. Life was getting better.
Oh, it
and
just
better.
got better and better and
Yeah,
better. You know,
yeah.
coming into running water there and
Yeah.
electricity there, and then after that, we went to they built a big secondary school at Wooler.
Yeah.
It's still used yet.
Right.
I used to go there.
And that was quite close.
You know, it was 6 miles. 6 miles from
How
the
are
camp.
you getting there?
There was a bus.
Ah,
There was a bus.
with a nice man.
Well, the thing is, you had to behave yourself, because, like, the prefects in that, they were all girls.
Oh gosh.
You know what I
God
mean?
forbid.
Oh, God. Many a person was put off the bus and a driver stop. Off you. Oh, God. Mm.
So if the boys had did it, it would have been a terrible time.
Aye, there were prefects and they were all.
And did you do well at school?
Well, the thing is, when I started school, we were just the infants. They were in one big classroom, and then like age group, we were all together.
Oh really?
You know what I mean? If you were bright, you just walked away. You just walked away, like, you know, educational wise.
What do you mean walked away?
Well, the thing is, like the modern schools, you're all broken up into groups, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, if you're clever, they'll say, well, put him in that class, you know, 4 or 6 or something like that.
Mm.
But in them days, you were just all pushed in. And that's why there's so much copying taking place, you know. This carry on, you know what I mean? And end of the day, you're no wiser. Because you were sitting copying there. But it is great to get home early.
So what do you mean walk away? The bright kids didn't go to school, or they walked away as in they advanced very quickly through it? What do you mean?
No, they were just all stuck together.
So, but when you say walked away, do you mean that they didn't attend school,
Oh, no.
or they advanced very quickly?
Well, the thing is, how they advanced was like through age, you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
You know, like a youngster this height, and somebody, you know, they would push them through into the older class.
Right.
But
Like
it is
ours.
unfair. It is unfair
Yeah.
because the clever lads or girls, well, if it was there, you know, they'd just, yeah, well, they went forward all the time. But this sitting copying and that was no good.
So were you copying all the time?
Oh, I did.
Is that what you're telling me?
I did a bit copying, yes.
You're basically telling me you cheated at school.
Yes, yeah. But the thing is, you had to be a good friend to copy, like, you know. They would turn around quick, like, and say, look, do your own, you know.
So you made friends with intelligent people in order to look intelligent yourself without having to learn a thing. Yeah?
Yeah.
Very good. Oh, gosh.
It was the same with poetry.
With poetry.
Yeah. You know,
Right, go on.
you would have an hour to learn it,
Oh, I see, yeah.
and then when it come your turn, you had to stand up, you know.
Yeah.
And if you forgot, my mother would say, "Oh, they're keeping them in. They're keeping them in, you know. You could keep you in for about an extra half hour, like, you know, because it must have been punishment, you know, by not."
What were the poems you were having to learn?
Oh,
Bit of Rudyard Kipling?
no, it's just everyday things, like, you know. But I don't think anybody liked school. Couldn't wait for the holidays
Yeah.
coming around.
And what did you do in holiday? Did you work or did you...
No, there was just going around the countryside. We always,
Poaching?
well, we didn't do a lot of poaching because you had to have like a catapult for a start there, and it's all money, isn't it?
Good Lord.
But we always knew where all the fruit trees were, you know, apple trees, plum trees, you know, in various woods and that. You would know when stuff was ready, like, you know,
Really?
in a way for the day there.
Wow. Really in touch with the seasons.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you knew where every tree was. In fact, I could nearly go up there now and
Really?
pinpoint the places.
Wow. That's brilliant. And where the best trees were apple tree. What was the most rewarding tree to get at?
Yellow plums.
Yellow plums.
I like the yellow
And
plums.
was there, I suppose, in a time when the yellow plums were right, you just sit at the tree and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat.
Well, yeah. Yeah, and what you had in your pockets, you would eat on the way home. I think we were all in the same position, like, you know, mates, friends, the lot. You know, there was no money in circulation out. Like to know they can go in a car or bikes or way abroad, can't they? Because,
Yeah.
but there was,
And then you had an operation and got older, didn't you?
So we move on. So in fact, we're scrumping and we're enjoying it. School was a bit shit. You didn't know any poetry. Got left in a lot, and then you end up leaving school. Did you get Did you get your general certificate or anything like that?
English and geography, I was quite good. Wasn't that good at maths, you know what I mean? In fact, it's still hard yet, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm not a maths man.
No.
You had to leave school early though, Dad, didn't you?
Oh, yeah,
Because,
through, but
you had a little operation.
with big toes. I had arthritis in the joints of the big toes. And the thing is, you know, we stepping off every time, you know, the big toe wasn't flexing, it wasn't coming back in pain. So what they done, they cut a piece out. They shortened the big toes.
Really?
They shortened them. So I never, that was 14-year-old, and I never went back to school.
Oh, really?
No, never went back to school. I left school when I was at home.
And how long did it take you to recover from this operation?
Oh, it's a long time.
Really?
Because like big tours are like the balance of your body, aren't
Yeah,
they?
yeah,
But I had a rough time.
yeah.
They tried all sorts, you know, by putting the bar on the bottom of your shoe, and you were like springing off the bar, you know what I mean?
Oh, I got you, yeah.
But no, mind, I'm still
So
going.
how long did that last?
Well, I went back and forth to hospital there, and they tried injections and that there, and I think they couldn't do anything more for us. You know, they've got to draw the line, you know. That was about it.
So how did you start walking again then, properly?
Well, I was 14 at the time, like, you know, and it didn't keep us in the house, you know. It got us out,
Yeah.
but you know, you were just more of sitting waiting at home for your friends coming home from school.
Gosh.
But oh, it's hard. In fact, it still kind of affects us yet, like,
Yeah.
you know. But no mind.
So that
Quite happy.
sort of separated you from your friends, and
Well,
did it make a difference to your social life or your...
yeah, the likes of football and you know,
Yeah.
sport and that. It did knock it to the head.
Yeah. So you became different, really.
Oh, different. Yeah,
And
different.
how did you handle that?
Well, more or less just took this bikes, you know, going around on bicycles and that, like, you know,
Yeah.
to get you off your feet. But oh, like football and that was all finished, like, you know, running around and no. Because it's school and that, well, I didn't go back to school, but like in the gym and that, you're pretty fit, haven't they, you know? They're all I'm up stuff.
So you end up reaching your teenage years, and you're living in the new council estate with your family. When do you get your first job, and what is your first job?
I got a job with Vavers, a Wooler. He was like an engineer, a millwright. He used to go around installing machinery on the farms.
Okay.
And he'd done electrical work, plumbing a lot. And I took up electrical work, but it involved millwrighting and installing, you know, machinery. And then you had all your, you know, wiring up, like all your conduit work and that to do. And then doing house wiring. And at that time, there was a lot of the farms had electric.
Yeah.
There was no electric on the farms. And we went around doing all the electrics. It was all in conduit pipe, steel pipe, you know,
Yeah.
you can get it black,
Yeah.
galvanized. Had that to be, you know, measured, cut, bent, you know, threaded,
Yeah.
put up there.
Yeah.
You had your through box, you know, then you had to come back and pull all your wires through and that.
That's the
right?
first electrification of
That's
the
right.
area.
Yeah,
First fits.
yeah. So it was a pretty hard job because the walls up there, they're all about, you know, 2 foot thick. You know, you get windstone, that's just like steel, that. You get that near the chariots and that, you know, windstone, sandstone. Oh, the walls were all 2 foot thick,
God.
2 foot.
So drilling through them with all...
Because the likes of up there, there was plenty of stone to be, you know, to be gotten. So that's why nearly all the houses were built with stone.
Yeah.
But the likes of down here, well, it's nearly all brick
Yeah.
because plenty of clay, wasn't there?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So you were working as an electrical fitter for this company, and how long did that last?
I was there for about, well, 6, 7 years. And then,
Oh, right, quite a while.
yeah. And what I just went around the firms in Wooler. There was Newton, they were electricians. And Newton, I went to Lochie or Crookham. Have you heard of Crookham, have you? No. That's on the Coulston Road there. And I finished off with Heckles. It is all, electrical work and all like. I was there for about 5 years. And I was doing a new installation on Ford Estate for Lord Joyce. And I had to do a job in this house, and when I went to the door there, it was a Yorkshireman that answered the door.
Right.
And we just got on talking like, and yeah, he says, we're up here from Yorkshire. He says, have you been down that way? Well, I says, went through Yorkshire. He says, one of the finest places in the world.
That must have been a Yorkshireman.
He says, one of the finest places in the world. So I come home and I says to the wife, well, I says, I'm going to move. And we moved to Harworth.
Oh, right, yeah. Where the Brontes, isn't it? Brontes lived in
Oh,
Harworth?
no, just here.
Oh, okay.
Harworth, like Notts,
Right.
Even Bawtry,
Yeah. Gotcha.
Harworth.
Yeah.
I know the other place there, yeah.
Yeah.
I camped there that night on coast to coast. No, Pennine. But also, what made it much easier, my brother-in-law, he actually worked at Beavercoats Colliery.
Beavercoats.
Yes, that's Notts.
Yeah.
It's about 20 miles down the A1 from Harworth.
Yeah.
Yeah, he worked at the pit there. He was a joiner. And he says, why don't he, come to Harworth and get a job at Beavercoats? So, done some writing and that, some letter writing. Then I had to go to Newcastle for a medical, health-wise. Don Valley, I think it was. And after that, I come down to Beavercoats and they give us an interview. And I got the job in the pit. So I had to go up to Mansfield and go down that pit for a few weeks to get into like firefighting and that. Like
Health and safety.
yes, like the fire hoses and different things. And then after that, I went up to Sherwood. That's
I'm going
where
over there.
that's where the workshops were.
Right.
The workshops, all electrical switchgear.
Yeah.
And then after that, I come to. Am I right? I'm in the right position, am I?
You're
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, right.
You are a perfect climax to this whole project. I'm enjoying your story.
Oh, well, I kind of miss bits out, like,
That's
but
fine.
age-wise, So, when it was time to start work at Beavercoats Colliery, I was on the surface for a while, just getting to know how, winders and different things and that. Then after that, I was down the pit.
Yeah.
but
And at this time, you've got a wife at home.
Yeah, I got a house in the same square.
And have you got children yet?
Yes, I've got a daughter,
Yeah.
and I lost my son, Gregory.
Right.
I lost him. And Lorraine, well, she's got two daughters. Emily.
These are your grandchildren.
Yes, grandchildren, yeah. And also Sarah. She's she's all out for college, isn't she, Lorraine?
Well, she's doing her A-levels at the moment, yeah. But
So-
when you went to Harvard, though, when you were at the Eco's, were you regularly growing little?
Yeah, you're just a kiddie. So I worked at Beaver Courts for 5 years.
Okay, and what, you down underground?
Yes, underground. I was on the cold face.
And did you enjoy that?
Well, it was a new experience to me, you know. But it is new, and I enjoyed it. I going well with them. We worked the shifts we worked were like work. Sometimes you work 3 days on and 5 days off. Continental, that's the word I'm looking for. They were trying to introduce that by working continental shifts,
Right,
but it was voted out.
right.
So you would work right through the weekend, no extra pay, mind, but you got extra days off during the week. But it was voted out, so that was all right.
And so, what were you doing underground? Were you ripping or were you...
No, I was electrical. I was actually on the face line, you know, keeping everything in order, you know, like the coal cutting machines there, conveyors, and conveyor belts, and all sorts, haulage.
So you were using your electrician's knowledge?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Handy.
Yeah. So you were there for breakdowns. Not only just sitting around waiting for something to stop on you, because if the coal face, or even an out by conveyor belt, if it stopped, or a cable got damaged, all production was stopped and all.
Yeah.
Because once your belts stop, everything stops. It's like a road accident, you know, you get everything building up.
So it's quite a stressful job. You've got to be rapid reaction force.
Oh, yeah. It was production.
Yeah.
You know, you had to be there to get the job going again because,
So the
well,
whole shift's waiting for you.
yes, on that unit.
Yeah.
You know, you had your various units and coal faces,
Yeah.
but you had to get the job going quick.
And was that busy? Were you busy?
Oh, yeah,
Or were
busy.
you hanging around offices and waiting with cups of tea, waiting for a call?
Oh, no, no, not like that.
You haven't got your feet up saying, "Oh, we can't do that yet, mate."
No, down the pit there. Then you had your deputies,
Oh yeah,
you know, they were running around.
on your back.
Yeah, well, he had an overman, like, you know, he was above a deputy. But I got on well with all the deputies, and you know, like managerial side and that. But if you want a job to be, you know, to be awkward, well, if you go, you know, be awkward, they can make you. They can make your job a misery, couldn't they?
Yes.
You know, deputies, because
I wouldn't know, but I presume that sounds
no,
like it.
well, they put your time in the book, and if they said, look, out the pit, you go out the pit because they just throw it out and stop your checks.
Mm.
But so getting back, I says to the wife, I says we're gonna have a change. Well, the wife's mother, she moved down to Doncaster, and to be nearer. Well, the wife wanted to be near her mum,
Mm.
so I went to Bentley and saw, you know, the under manager and that, and I was the manager, and he had an interview, and he says, yes, he says, there's a job here for you. And then I got the chance of a job at Armthorpe, so I had to give back word there, and I got a job at Armthorpe, and I was there for 12 years.
Yeah.
12 years. And I was on coal face all the time there.
Doing the same kind of work, electrical?
Yes, electrical. And then on Headlands, where you had Doscos, it was like a machine on tracks and had a big boom with like a warhead on the end there. It used to revolve and with picks in. And you would get water passing through the picks to, you know, cut the dust down.
Mm.
But, oh, there were dusty places and all. Dusty, noisy. Sometimes you had to be on your hands and knees crawling through some parts of the gate, the walkways, because when the weight come on the top, it used to fetch all the metal, steel, you know, like the joists down, you know, rings, and the floor used to come up to meet the roof. So they had to get in there with machines, like a small machine with a bucket on the front, and it used to load it onto a conveyor belt. So they went down to get the height, and then they put on new rings and that, back in again. Then you had your back sheets to hold the straw up.
Your back what? Back sheets?
You know, they were like corrugated metal sheets.
Oh, yeah. You talk about the rings in the corridor?
Yeah, they had to put them on top of the rings because for stuff falling down, you know.
Yeah.
And then they would get bags and fill with rubbish and that, just to fill the spaces up. But it's all hard work for them.
So what period of history are we in now? Are we in the 70s, 60s?
1973 he went to Markham.
Yeah, 1973.
And Markham Main is Armthorpe?
Yes, Armthorpe.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So obviously we've gone past the era of pit ponies. We're now into you in the machinery and electric, so you're quite again.
Yeah.
You seem to be at the vanguard of electrification of this country.
Well, down Armthorpe, there used to be ponies down there at one time because all the stables were there.
Right.
Yes, all the stables were still there. But they had ponies down there. And on the coal faces, you had two coal cutting machines, one at each end. But when I went down on the 40s, one end was electric and the other end was compressed air. God, it's a really wet job, that. You know, with compressed air, you know, I mean, exhausting.
What do you mean compressed air? For what? For what was the
driving the machine,
right?
Driving the turbine.
Yeah.
To drive the mechanical side of the machine, you know, to turn your disc, you know, but cut the coal. He had picks all the way around that and all.
Gosh.
And then they had water sprays coming off to suppress the dust.
So it's wet,
Dark.
hot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's hot.
Were you wearing bannekas?
Shorts and that there. Well, they supplied these boiler suits. They were orange, but they were like an island. They were hot. Now, they used to wash them for you. Pop them in a bag and put the big safety pin on it. And they used to wash them and you would get them back again, like, with a Stavely or somebody done the washing. But
so you were fully immersed in pit life now then?
yeah. And then when I went there at Armthorpe, there were steam winders, big steam engines driving the winders, you know, for the chairs and the shafts, you know, for material man-wise. And then they converted onto electric. It's funny that they always spend millions of pounds and then they shut the place.
Gosh. So you're obviously, are you retraining all the time? Are they sending you off on courses to keep you up to date?
Yes, we used to go to Carcroft.
Carcroft. We've had a guy from Carcroft. We've done a Carcroft man. That's good. I'm pleased about that.
Yeah, Carcroft. We used to go there and pull gate end boxes to pieces and that there.
Was that considered good fun? Were you happy to be away from the
Well,
line?
it is all down the pit. You know, what you worked on there, you actually worked on down pit, like, you know. But there was nothing you could move manual with your hands, you know, electrical wise, because it is all FLP, you know, fire.
FLP, what's that?
Yeah, it's flame proof, you know what I mean?
Ah, yeah.
On all the surfaces, you know, on gate end boxes, everything. It is all machined faced, and you had a set of feeler gauges, and that it had to be no less than 6 thou or no more than 6 thou, because if you got an explosion in the gate end box, you would get the flame coming out that gap, you know, the 6 thou gap, but it would cool it down. It wouldn't ignite any methane gas out like that. But anything bigger, it would. It took the heat out, like, you know.
So how do you work being an electrician? I mean, I know because of all the contraband and stuff. I mean, I know there's no spark, not even tin foil out
Well,
down there.
it's,
How do you become an electrician down there when it's obviously electrical sparking and all manner of stuff going on?
well, he went to, that's why I went to Sherwood, like, you know. It was all, like, when you were dealing with power, you know, there's 1100 volts down there,
Yeah.
1100. Motors, they were 1100. But all signals and that, they were just 6 volts. All right.
I want you back down again. I've been doing your head down and now you suddenly put it up.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
You should have thought about that at the beginning.
Huh? Have
Yeah,
I,
so
have I upset things, no?
No. You're wonderful. So, did you see many? I mean, did you have many kind of unfortunate moments or accidents where
No.
you were very professional and it all worked brilliantly?
Yeah. Well, the job had to be done right.
Yeah.
And you had all these, you had to do your examinations every week.
Really?
Go into the substations there and go around everything with feeler gauges,
Yeah.
making sure the gaps were right, everything was right. But many a time he had to carry material in from the surface to get the job away.
And this is still repairing and fixing and
Like the gate end boxes and that, you had your control units. When they went wrong, they were taken out the pit. Whoever volunteered to carry them out the pit, they got a note of the deputy to set off a quarter of an hour before finishing time, you know. Oh, I always had volunteers to carry stuff out the pit, but no volunteers to carry it in. But it all went away. They come and collected all that gear and took it away and done it in a proper workshop on the surface somewhere.
I'm resting on your shoulder.
Yes.
Strong shoulders. And mine is.
But it is all high voltage stuff, like, you know, it's all the heavy side, you know. We had the amperage and that. But the likes control units and all that. He never went into them. That wasn't your job. They all went back out the pit and they were sent away, and they were all overhauled and reconditioned and brought back again. And you were just there, you know, trailing cables, you know, shift and switch gear. When the face line advanced, you had to keep advancing all the panels forward, transformer, everything. And you might be thinking, well, how did he get all that weight forward, like to get end boxes and transformer? It was above the belt. It was on a monorail system. You had, when they were advancing forward, you used to take the monorails off the front and take them to the rear. You know, or no, I beg your pardon. They took them off the rear, they take them to the front, because they were advancing at the front, weren't they? And they were just dropping off at the back. And that's how we got all your weight and that forward.
Your weight?
You know, like switch gear,
So all your maintenance gear?
oh yeah, everything. Hydraulic pumps, everything was on this monorail system.
And was it hanging or...?
Yes, it is actually on wheels, you know, monorail.
So you'd hook it all up? And
Yeah.
And was it electric? Did it just go by itself or did you push
Well, sometimes it is done by hydraulic ram. You know, hydraulic rams that used to pull it. But we you know having weight coming on that day, they were all zigzagged and it was a very awkward job at times.
it? How many of you were there in a team of electricians, as it were?
Oh no, in a face,
Yeah.
one.
Just you?
No, just me.
So you
Well,
were the character that would turn up?
I would be
So
there
what's the
at
problem here then?
any power going off, out like that.
Who's been fiddling around with the switches? Who knocked that?
Yeah,
That's not how I left it.
but sometimes you got apprentice and that there.
Yeah.
But there was always plenty of work. There was never sitting around. But likes of Althorpe, yeah. I really liked Althorpe.
Yeah. Because?
Mm.
Why?
Well, even, you know, well, your gaffers, what you talk about, gaffers, you know.
So you basically talk about people were good.
Yeah. Like the assistant engineers, yeah. Yeah, deputy electrical engineer, and then he had Tom Hodby. He died just the other week there.
Really?
He was engineer. They were all nice people.
So because you were by yourself working, did you fit in with the mine culture? Because there's a lot of people talk about the camaraderie and
Yeah, you were one of the team.
that was all good.
Mm-hmm.
So you had a good social life as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then you had your fitters. Fitters. You would have one fitter there. But you see, you'll understand in the pit, you know, on the coal face and that, everything, you know, is wet. Because, you know, you've got that many water sprays on these machines and that. And if they had to start changing pieces of machine, or, you know, even on the face line, they had a maintenance shift. That's when the pit's dead.
Yeah.
There's no working taking place between afternoon and night shift. You know, when afternoon shift comes off, it's dead, isn't it?
Yeah.
Until night shift comes on.
Yeah.
Well, they had a maintenance shift, and they used to go in there, and they used to, well, take all the bolts out of the machinery, you know, everything, because it would take you a full shift just to cut the bolts out. You know what I mean? And you used to do all that and put all new in. So when the next shift come on, it was a simple job, wasn't it? To take the bolts out, put the new section in, and put the bolts back in again. Where if they had to do the bolts from start, they would never get the pieces changed, would they? It's a maintenance shift.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was that stressful?
Well,
Fast work.
the thing is, I went on the maintenance shift just for a while at Armthorpe. The only thing with maintenance, you're doing work what can't be done during production shift. You know, the job has got to be shut down to do like all switch gears and things to be moved forward, like transformers, etc. And this is what they done on an evening shift. But by having an evening shift, it used to do away with a lot of the weekend work and all.
Yeah.
Because they were doing work when the shift was dead, between, you know, after nights starting. But that's how they used to work it. But Armthorpe, was there a Cliff Chamberlain? Was he here? Cliff?
No. Haven't had a Cliff Chamberlain, have we? Clifford. We've had Clifford.
White hair.
We had a 95-year-old guy. Clifford, I don't know where he's...
Oh.
No, I don't think it was him.
Well, from that pit, Captain Coates, no. Chris Lawson, no. Cliff Chamberlain, no. Wayne Holian, no. Martin Powell, no.
When you say no, are these people that are no longer with us?
Well, I'm just expecting you to say, oh yes.
Oh, I go, sorry. No, none of them.
Who's laughing?
I didn't realise I was supposed to be answering you there. You were answering for me.
Oh, well. So, the names I've mentioned, they've not been here.
No. No.
Not many years left.
God, it frightens me, that. There was... there was a lot. I thought I was expecting more than that.
We've got 15, we got 17 pits to cover. So we only get 1 or 2 from each pit with 40 heads, you know. And then we have miners rescue.
Oh, minor rescue and
All
all
that as
eh?
well. Everyone, they want everything covered.
Oh,
Yeah, miners
God.
rescue and then we had, is it Carthorpe? It was the maintenance up above ground.
uh-huh.
That's all dealt with. So it's a very, very extensive coverage.
Oh. God, you have covered some ground, haven't you?
Yeah, we have. Yeah. This is your natural position, isn't it, this head, that angle?
There.
No, that's good, I liked it. Just got to make sure you stay in it now. You might be taking up 2 head spaces, because... How much time have we done? Has he been talking for 2 hours?
You're on 40 minutes left.
Oh my God, I better concentrate.
I think my dad was going to tell you a story about the army coat, wasn't he, Dad?
Well,
When you were
I did mention about the army coat on the bed.
Oh yes.
Well, we're all in the house, like, and my mother says, now look, your posh auntie's coming today, and I want you all to behave yourself. In fact, get yourself into the bedroom out the way when she comes. So, Aunt comes, like, we're all in the bedroom. Derek, he was a bit of a spragger, like, you know. Opens the room door. Ma'am, Colin's pulled the arm off the army coat. She says, it's not an army coat. It's a duvet, isn't it? A duvet. Well, bloody hell. Within a half an hour, I pulled the other arm off. And Derek, you know, first Derek in, he's shouting through to my mother, Mother, you know that duvet, Colin's pulled the other arm off it. Okay. Posh that day. Bloody hell.
So you had a posh auntie. What did your posh auntie do?
Just a life, a leisure life, you know, she was,
Really?
she was retired
So
and
what
that.
sort of-
She lived at Shaw's Dean.
Where's that?
Shaw's Dean, there was a drift mine at Shaw's Dean. In fact, there was Scramerson, there was a pit at Scramerson, just before you go into Berwick.
All right. What's a drift mine?
It goes down on a slope.
You don't need to sink a shaft, you walk in or drive.
It, you know, it's a drift that goes all the way down. It's usually endless rope, isn't it?
We have one or two of them here. He had a drift mine, didn't he?
Yeah. A lot of the drift mines were a bit more North Yorkshire and Wales had quite a few drift mines.
There's, at the moment, I've been reading some books on coal mining, all the pits around about and that. And Armthorpe, Armthorpe, usually all the ground around here was owned by Fitzwilliam, wasn't it? Fitzwilliam, he's got estates up the country, hasn't he?
Mm.
You know, he used to deal in coal.
Can you look at me?
Ah, yes,
Shut up, you.
yeah.
Said we did.
You were smiling there. Sorry about that.
It's all right. Go on. Who was it that ran it all? Owned it all?
Fitzwilliam.
Fitzwilliam. And in fact, Fitzwilliam, he owns nearly all land in Doncaster. You know, all these houses, Doncaster, intake and all these places, all the ground is leasehold. There's very little freehold. It's leasehold because all the land belonged to him. So he gets a rent every year from the leases.
Renting out Doncaster.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh. And has he owned it for years and years and centuries and lives and generations?
Yeah. But that's where he made all his money in steel and coal. But the Armthorpe there, Armthorpe. Armthorpe, it's pretty interesting because I've just more or less forgot about it. They stopped sinking the shaft at Armthorpe because, you know, through the Second World War, the men had to leave their jobs and go and fight.
Now tell me about this, because I thought mining was a reserved occupation.
Well, sinking the shafts, Armthorpe was stopped. It was stopped for 2 or 3 years or more through the war because they needed, you know, like men.
Mm.
It's the same on the farms.
Mm.
They took a lot of the farm workers into the army.
So they just closed the pits down.
No, they were just more or less on standby. Mhm.
Right.
But But Broadsworth, it was one of the main pits in the country. It was the biggest pit in the country. It had the biggest output of coal. Bullcroft, they only took materials down Bullcroft shaft. But all the coal from Bullcroft come up Broadsworth.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So, so it all went down Bullcroft and up at Broadsworth. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think, you would have workers going down, Bullcroft getting all materials down there, because the constant job getting materials down, because they were still extracting coal, but instead of fetching it up, Bullcroft, they were fetching it up the other,
Yeah.
You worked at the pit until it was strike, didn't you?
Oh God, we haven't done that. We usually do that one. We usually do that in the first hour. Where were you with the strike then?
Well,
Do you remember the strike?
yeah, I can remember the strike there, brother. Yeah. In fact, I didn't go on very many picket lines.
No,
No, I didn't.
because
Well, if I had been brought up as a miner's son, I think I'd have understood it more, wouldn't I? But with not being brought up as a miner's son, I didn't go into it a lot. I read about it, I seen it on the news there, Scargill, everybody, and I thought, well, I think there's enough out there without me going.
So what did you do? Obviously you weren't. Were you working?
Oh, no. It was one of the finest summers we ever had.
Oh,
I have never known.
they do talk about it. That. Yeah.
Huh?
People do talk about this
Oh,
wonderful weather.
God, the weather. But you had no money coming in, that was the only thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it was...
Sorry to interrupt. No, we must have been wanting to see the artist at work and
Uh,
listen to your story. Is that okay?
Yeah.
It was beautiful weather. And
We'll just wait for these people to come in. You can shuffle around. Go on.
but
We're just talking about a miners' strike.
People should.
Yeah.
well, the thing is, when I said about you hadn't a wage coming in during the miners' strike, I had the wife working.
All right. What was she
So
doing?
She was working at the glass bulbs at Harworth.
The what?
The glass bulbs.
Glass bulbs.
They made bulbs.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. Light
And,
bulbs.
yeah, light bulbs and fluorescent tubes and that. She was there for 22 years.
Good Lord.
22 years. It's all flattened now.
Really?
Nothing to be seen.
So the income was coming in through her,
Yes,
and it was a beautiful summer.
yes. But she couldn't go anywhere because she was working.
Yeah.
No rest for the women folk.
Yeah.
Well, just mulch in the garden all the time.
So you're growing your own.
Well, I was always doing jobs, to the house and that, the plumbing, electrical, and I've always been at that sort of thing,
Yeah.
But
So you got through the strike,
yeah, I got through the strike, yeah.
and you got your job back,
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was back to normal, or how long did the pits...
Well, I went back for a year, and I got my transfer redundancy.
How old were you now?
How old I was then?
Yeah.
47.
47.
But the thing is, it is more or less just to go back, because there wasn't much coal production, because it is privately owned after that.
So it was privately owned?
But it is more into salvage,
Right,
you
so
know,
like...
breaking all machinery down and that and getting it out.
So really, it wasn't a working pit anymore?
Well, they had a go like, but well, it's like all the pits that they started to salvage, didn't they? Get all the stuff out.
And this is Hatfield still?
Pardon?
This is Hatfield?
Oh,
You're talking about Hatfield pit? Is that what... Armthorpe.
Armthorpe.
So when were you at Hatfield? Did you go to Hatfield?
No,
No, sorry.
no, it's never at that field, no. Well, it was mothballed for years, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of the men come across to Armthorpe to work. I'm all right in that position.
You're perfect.
Yeah.
It gets quieter now in the last 10 minutes
Yeah.
as I panic.
But the likes of, you know, mining there, women used to take their kiddies down the pit.
Kiddies?
Kiddies, you know.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What period of time are we talking about? Not in your time.
No. 18th century.
Yeah.
Mhm.
God.
They used to take the young boys down the pit to operate, you know, air doors and that for ventilation. Oh, they were hard working, the women, kiddies and all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So back to this rich auntie. So she lived in the next village, did she?
No, she lived at Shoresdean.
Shoresdean. And what did she? Who did she marry well, or was she a? Did she?
Oh, she lost her husband. I think he was killed off a motorbike, you know.
Good Lord.
But she lived in a pensioner's bungalow at Shoresdean. But the likes of Berwick there, have you been to Bamborough?
Yeah, the castle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Love it.
Say houses?
Yep.
Beadnell?
No.
No. Craster?
No.
They make the kippers.
Do you go back up there much?
I used to go up pretty regular, you know, when my mum and dad were alive, but not so much. No.
So they stayed up there, did they?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. I've got a brother. He lives in Doncaster.
So did he come?
The youngest one. He was actually on the underground in London.
All right.
And then he come up here and got a job on the post. He's retired now, so.
So you had a family here. Which brother was he? The youngest, the oldest?
Youngest, Kenneth.
Ken.
Mm-hmm.
And is he still around?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's still going around.
did you say I had left? An hour?
You take as long as you want, Louise.
Yeah.
Who's driving you?
Have you been to Cragside at all?
Crag's Head?
Cragside,
No.
Rothbury.
No.
Mm.
No, I've only climbed the Cheviot a couple of times, disturbed the grouse. Did you go up there and try and get...
I've been on the Cheviots
Yeah.
for 5 times. So, you know, there was quite a few airplanes come down there during the war years. There was a flying fortress.
20 minutes.
20 minutes? Oh, that's not so bad.
A flying fortress.
Really? What, I mean an aeroplane?
Mm-hmm. Americans. And they were all, if you had been about another 5 foot higher, you would have missed the top. But they were all brought out safely, like, you know, there was none of them
Yeah.
killed. You know. Very lucky. But a lot of wreckage lying up there. Mhm. But why I mentioned Rothbury,
It's all right, you carry on.
Cragside, there's a massive house there, and you call him Armstrong, and he actually owns Bamburgh Castle.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. That was the first, I think it's the first house in the world that had electricity first.
The first house in the world.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Cragside.
Really?
And if you look that up, I think it's right. You had a lake up on the top there, and it's you know, the water was piped down to a turbine
Right.
to drive the generator.
Oh, God, the whole back of the head to do. Bloody hell. Why have we got back of the head? This is all going to go in the back of the monument anyway.
I can't just look forward.
Just fill it with mush.
What's it taste like? Actually, quite
You can try some if you like.
Smelly taste.
No, it's pretty tasteless. My wife's not happy when she sees these films. Chewing.
Why?
I'll get the angle of his face.
There's nobody smiling on
No, but I've had a few. It's very difficult to keep a smile. You look a bit silly. You look like a gargoyle with a smile. Grimace. A smile can be a grimace very easily. It's very, in a sculptural term, you don't often see smiling portraits. If you do, they look bloody. They're usually done by amateurs who are trying to please their clients. This is a proper psychological portrait of a deep intellectual. A man who's seen the world.
You know this chap who you were on about,
Yeah.
was he in his 90s?
Clifford?
Yes.
Yes.
Did he mention pit ponies?
Yes. We've had a few conversations about pit ponies.
Yeah.
Underground derbies and racing.
Uh-huh. There was a lot of cruelty, you know, with ponies.
What it was?
Cruelty.
Cruelty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you read about it.
lucrative world.
No, they weren't. It's the same with down pit. If you had anybody important coming, they would be on for about a month beforehand, getting rid of all this scrap, whitewashing junctions there, cleaning up, you know, just for someone to walk through
Yeah.
and back out the pit again. I think that applies to any job, doesn't it?
Yeah. Except sculpturing.
And then 3 days after you're breaking your neck, aren't you?
Yeah. So did you date back, did you go back to, in Berwick? Did your family go back for generations up there, or did you move somewhere else?
No, stop down here.
But did your generation, your father's your great father?
Oh, the bows belonged up there.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what they were, your people?
I think they were mostly, they all worked on the farms.
Yeah.
It was nearly all farm work up there at that time. Well, labour was cheap, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But the likes of up north there, you know, on the farms, you don't see so many animals going about now, like the cows and sheep,
Yeah.
because the government pay them not to have sheep or cattle. But when my brother, well, he was made redundant there.
He was working on the land, was he?
Yes, and he's still in one of the farmhouses by paying rent.
Is he?
And it used to be a massive estate. It used to be, it belonged to the co-op, you know, the store.
Yeah.
They used to produce all their own stuff at one time. And it's all foreign owned now. Are they Swedish?
Yeah.
But all what they buy this land now for is for shoots.
Yeah.
They breed pheasants, ducks, and the people, they come from all over,
Yeah.
and they shoot them. I think it's cruelty myself. The ducks are that tame, they've got to chase them before they'll take to the wing, and then they shoot them.
Yes, it's a crazy world, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then they throw them away.
That's right, they don't want them. And all the farm buildings, they've all been converted into accommodations for them to stop when they come.
Yeah, it's true. What about fox hunting?
There's nothing like that now. They would like to, for it to come back, but no.
One thing I remember about my dad when he used to cook when he come from work, his hands, even though he'd had a shower at work, it's ingrained.
The
ingrained
coal.
in your hands, and every crease was
Really? Did he have the black
real
eyelashes?
Real work in the hands.
But like to going back, you know, and he is the miner. sometimes they would walk miles and miles to the work, you know, over hills, countryside, the lot.
Yeah.
They would come back pitch black, you know, wet through, and they would have a tin bath. You've seen them baths, haven't you?
Mm.
They're about 6 foot long, with a handle on each end. They used to boil water and put it at the front of the fire, and they used to sit in there and bath. That's when they got then they started introducing cool, didn't they? The cool was to heat the water for the miners to have a bath. And then when they started building pit baths on surface, you know, they still got the coal.
Yeah.
They didn't stop it.
You've got a very Berwick face.
Have I?
Not that I know about Berwick faces, but I imagine it. I had Edinburgh. We've had actually Edinburgh as well this week.
Never have we?
Yeah, we've got an Edinburgh one. I'll show you an Edinburgh guy in a minute.
God.
That's the interesting thing about this mining project is you realise people are coming from all over the world to work here.
Lorraine was born in Edinburgh, and Gregory, my son, he was born in Coldstream. It's on the Scottish. Lord, I think it's Hume. Hume or Hume.
Oh yeah.
He owns the Hersal in Coldstream. In fact, he owns the church. In fact, I was married in his church.
Really?
Lennel.
Is your wife still around?
No, I lost her last Christmas.
Oh.
So she was around when this was all.
Oh,
God.
yes, she was over then, but I lost her last Christmas. Mm-hmm.
I thought you'd gone. This is the stuff. You can pick it up, you can catch it, make a sausage out of it.
But getting back to Yorkshire, there, I've had no regrets by coming to Yorkshire.
No?
I've always thought Yorkshire, it's a marvellous place.
Mm. Do you agree with the guy that said it was the best place in the world?
Yes,
Really?
yes.
Good move
Because
then.
Yorkshire is a big place.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Yorkshire.
So you retired, and what did you do after you retired?
Nothing at all, just doing my own work and that, like, you know, around. There's always plenty to do to the houses and that. I done work on the daughter's house and also on the son's house, like, you know. There was always plenty of work. And then cars. I used to always do all my own work on cars.
All right.
Mm-hmm. But what phased all that out was it's all on modern cars there now. It's
Computers and
yeah, what's you know, it's a garage job every time.
Yeah.
What was it like going down the pit then?
Pardon?
What was it like going down?
Going down the pit, well, a bit drafty.
No, in the cage and that? What was
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's very drafty, cold at times in the winter. You understand, you had two shafts. One shaft was completely covered in at the top, and the other shaft was open. Well, the one that was covered in, he had a big fan, maybe it's about 30 meters, what broke into the side of the shaft. And that was like a big vacuum cleaner. It was pulling up the shaft. Well, you might think, well, where's getting the fresh air from to pull around the pit? It's number 2 shaft. It's all open. So it goes down number 2 and it's sucked back up number 1. We'd all been sealed on the top. There's only one way, and that's up like a duct and through the fan and exhausted. And that's how we got your circulation. Between loader gate and barrier gate, the barrier gate was like the exhaust. It took all the muck, smells and dust out the pit and up the shaft and out where the fan was. And that's why I had doors between loader gate and barrier gate. If you left the doors open, between the loader gate and the barrier gate, it would short circuit. The air would actually pull through where you've left the doors open and go way back to pit bottom and pulled up the shaft what the fan was in. So therefore, in by the doors what's been left open, there will be no circulation whatsoever until you shut the doors, and then it would have the full pull around the pit again. Mm-hmm. Do you get that?
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
It's amazing, the technology, the kind of thinking they have to go about getting air down there.
Yes.
About getting it, even down to the sparks and the methane gas and the stuff that goes. I mean, when I first started this project, I thought you went down a hole and you dug a lot and you came out again. The whole, even the face, which is just this cross beam against 2 major channels, and the fact that behind you you're collapsing the ceiling all the time.
Yes, well, it's all like the coal face now is all made up with props, you know what I mean? It used to be individual props on a piece of wood, like. Yeah. But then they come with these, like a big tabletop with all these legs underneath, big chocks.
That's right. Yeah, tabletop with legs underneath. Yeah.
God, all these legs. And the thing is, with a cool face, you know, I had it's like a big conveyor chain going right through. Yes. And when the coal cutter got through by taking the bottom, the chock still pinned to the roof, so the weight was on them, and they pushed on the bottom chocks what was lying horizontal, so they would actually push this big armor face conveyor across. Yes. Up against the coal face. And then they would lower the props, take the weight off them, and the weight of the face conveyor, it acted like an anchor point to pull the chocks all across
Incredible.
towards the face. And then they would, they could do this on about every, I would say 10 trucks.
Yeah.
They used to move, say, 10 trucks at a go. If they were just moving one at a time, you know, they'd be there all day, wouldn't
yeah,
they?
God.
So that's what they've done.
Incredible. Oh, here we go. It's like the executioner coming
I
up.
was bringing your van keys back actually.
Oh, thank you. Didn't know you had them.
But
The execution.
But on the coal face machines, there used to be, there was big, massive chains running through the face line, and the machines used to drag themselves through on them, and they'd be up walloping about like
Can you
this.
hold that a minute?
Looks worried about holding his own head.
It's
It's almost Halloween. It's fine.
It's got very big. It's a big head.
Is that right?
He has got a big head.
Hey, keep your voice down.
Do you know why it's a big head?
Why is it a big head?
It's full of knowledge. That's what my dad would say.
You heard that, didn't you? You obviously read a lot.
Hmm?
You read a lot.
I like reading. The thing is, I can't pick a softback book up, you know, where there's no pictures to be seen. I like to read, you know, maybe 2 pages and then it'll more or less explain what it's about now, like photos, and then you go on to something else again, like, you know. But just one continuous story all the way through, oh,
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
I would forget.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't do that.
What are you like, Laurence? Can you read text-heavy things?
Don't ask me a question. I'm in the middle of a moment of inspiration. Make a bloody conversation with me now. Christ's sakes, man. No, I can read. I read a lot, but I forget everything. So I wonder why I read.
It
I must
keeps,
just like the activity.
yeah. If you keep your mind active, you know, it keeps you young and all, like.
Yeah. So I found I've got sketchbooks, and I often write down the quotes. And the
Yes,
things interesting.
yes.
And it's those that I read again.
Yes.
Oh God, I know. I used to know that. It's just weird stuff.
Yeah.
You realise you didn't.
I know what they're on about.
Yeah. So I try and take a lot of notes
Hmm.
when I read something like you're talking about.
Hmm. But like say, anybody's into reading there, it's just like watching telly, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
But
I like reading, but I can't. Like my wife reads before bed, and that's how she winds down. So she'll read a book for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes before bed, and then off she drifts to sleep quite happily. Whereas if I read for 20 or 30 minutes before bed, then I'm thinking about it, and I can't switch off then. It's really bizarre. Like I get to the point where I'm like, I'll read that next chapter, and before I know it, it's 4 in the morning, I've read a book, and I'm like,
Well, I fall asleep within 2 pages of reading at night time. In fact, anything after lunchtime, reading makes me go to sleep, which is really annoying.
Reading makes you go to sleep.
Yeah, it makes you tired. You're really tired.
it's an age thing, Laurence.
Well, I can't, obviously not,
Huh?
because it
Oh.
doesn't make you go to sleep, does it?
Keeps us
Made of
awake.
stronger stuff, Laurence.
You are?
You made of stronger stuff.
Maybe I should be reading more interesting things. I read because I think I should, to better
Yeah.
myself. I very rarely read for entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you need more pictures in your books.
Hey, but I like, well, you know, the Dalesman or something like that. You know, you read a little bit and you see a picture and different things. That's the sort of thing I like to read. But knowing a bloody book's that thick, you know, and I go to bed to sleep.
Anyway,
Allowing you to run over a little bit on some Laurence.
Man, there's some work in there, isn't it?
I think I'm near enough there.
God.
That's the angle of your head. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of you in there.
God, hey, there's
Yeah.
some bloody work in there, isn't there?
What do you think, Lorraine?
You've got the moustache on, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we'll add a bit more of that. Put a bit more, put a bit of that in.
Bloody marvellous. God.
The last one.
Now, where would I start, doing this, Now, that would be on the floor for a start,
Oh, well, he does a good job of that, to be honest.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, there's some work there.
Due to actually,
Sorry?
when's the
May, hopefully.
next May?
Yeah.
And when did he take this up as a hobby, or did he just see somebody, or
Who?
read about it, or?
What, me?
No, this job you're doing at this moment in time.
Being a sculptor,
Aye.
I've always done it. It's all I've ever done.
Oh,
Yeah, I've never done anything else. So if you ask me my life story, it'd be very, very boring. Yeah, went to college and just carried on. I built my own bronze foundry.
so I was going to ask you that now. You go about that, and then you've got to put like a hardener on that, and then it melt, it's the hardener or is,
A plaster coat. I put a plaster mould over this,
yeah,
and it's covered in plaster, and it's in like a big barrel of plaster and grog with a pouring cup on it, a funnel leading to a runner. That all goes in a kiln for a week. All this melts away, and then there's a hole the shape of your head inside this mould, and we pour hot bronze into that, and that's then sets hard and takes the shape of your head, obviously, because it's the mould. And then we break that open, and then we start the metal finishing, all the filing and fettling and all that sort of stuff, the sanding and all the smoothing of your skin.
so,
Do you
very
know
well.
when kiln like
So that answers my question, that,
Sometimes that
'Cause-
goes in-
just to pick that up in a month.
Yeah.
The whole process, when we first started this one, almost 2 years ago now, and I'd sit there and inquisitive as I am, I was like, couldn't work out how the whole process worked and how we were left with bronze without it being solid bronze. It took ages to kind of understand the process. And then we came down to, me and my wife and my kids went to stay with Laurence and his family and went to the foundry and saw it all, and it was just like, the pouring of the metal itself is art, as well as the sculpting. I mean, Tom in the foundry, who's the foundry manager, is he?
Yes.
He knows how metal works inside out, how to heat the metal, how to mix the metal, how to pour the metal. And I think some of the stuff that Laurence does in particular is so intricate, it requires that teamwork of skill. But it's like you said, when you first started your foundry, Laurence, that you had it in his back garden, didn't you, or something?
Yeah.
And he was like pouring bronze for quite big clients, but Laurence said I had to deliver it because I didn't want them coming to see that it was a wheelie bin in the back garden type of thing. So he had this like luxury front to a business that was backyard designs, and now he's got a huge foundry and studio, and soon he'll know what he's doing. It's just like the life of art, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm sitting here, I never see what you're doing. I see the back of the head there, and you're thinking, well, what's happening there? What's happening? And then when you see it there, you think, really hell,
I've got a bit of the wax that Laurence left last time, and you just sit there and you move that wax around, and you just think how that's created is way beyond.
When they go in the kiln, does any aspect of that come just
Yes.
so?
In fact, yeah. But what we do is we make a mould of this.
So you make a rubber mold, don't you?
It's a rubber mould, so we can give you a plaster head from the mould, and we can addition. That's how we can make our money, not out of this project, but out of my life usually, by casting additions. So I make a sculpture, get a mould made, and then you can sell 12 of that sculpture. And so if you hit on a winner, you can do it again and again and again.
So if one of the heads was to break in the kiln, you'd be able to
Be safe, yeah. I wouldn't put this one in. I mean, I could. For the sake of education, this head's going in a kiln. But in reality,
Leave it
make
hollow.
make a mould of it.
And who came up with this project?
Well, it was advertised to make a mining memorial or celebrate mining in Doncaster, and then I applied, and then it was my idea that developed over the year or years.
This statue, he did tell me, you know what I mean? Could you just repeat that again for us, please?
So the monument or the mining statue is going to be 2 huge pieces of rock, and within the rock there'll be niches carved out of that, and the heads will be fixed into the rock. So the rock is there to represent the coal face, or a seam of coal, and then the heads are there, the miners and the
If
story.
you're here, might as well carry on.
And then there's going to be the listening miner, who's going to be like a 6-foot miner in mining equipment, which we're going to have to sort that out.
Is that bronze?
Yep.
That's going to be bronze as well.
God.
So yeah.
So my next job when I get back is to start modelling the miner.
God.
That's a 6-foot clay sculpture.
Yeah, hell.
The pit lamp and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we had them sourced, but the person who was meant to be loaning them to us has gone incredibly cold, so I can't get hold of them. So we're going to have to chase that.
Do we go on eBay for them?
It'd be good to have real ones though, do you know, like from the people of Doncaster. I think this guy will come through. He said he hasn't been very well, so I think now it's a case of as soon as he gets back in touch, I'll get hold of them, and then as soon as we've got them in our possession, then we can.
You haven't got a helmet, have you? A battery pack?
I'll have a battery in that and a helmet, but a self-rescuer, no. You know,
Just for me to copy. Yeah, I want the battery and the helmet
yeah.
Snapped
to
it.
copy, and a snap tin to copy with my sculpture. And we're trying to find one.
Well, a snap tin. Do you know something? There wasn't really any snap tins. They were just like a sack on your back, you know. Or Dudley's.
Yeah? Have we got a Dudley?
No, I haven't, but they still sell them on eBay, about everything. But the thing is, you want a pit lamp?
No, because we've got the helmet with the light. We've
Oh,
got that, that's all right. We're not going that far back. We're doing a kind of a latest generation miner, really. So I want a snap tin or a Dudley and a helmet and a battery that goes down the back.
Then them self-rescuers.
And the self-rescues, yeah.
You know, I've never seen them lying about anywhere, car
No.
boots or anywhere, you know.
2 rounds.
Okay. So
To wrap it.
we're taking advantage of the conversation.
I'll let you have 10 minutes. and that's-
Have you got over your time?
Yeah, we've gone over our time now, but it's got moustache there now.
Oh, that's beautiful, lad. That's, oh God.
That's the angle. That's the
Ah.
angle.
Oh, that's beautiful, lad. Beautiful.
What you try and do is animate it, so it's actually in conversation. You know, your eyebrow raising.
Yeah. God. Beautiful.
You look like you've got a bit of hair and all that.
Huh?
The last guy told me off. I had to lower his hair. I had to lower his fringe.
Oh,
What did you say, Laurence?
I said,
What was your quote?
I said, what did I say? You got less hair than you think. I lowered his fringe, and when he left, I put it back up again.
I was sat in the other room and I could hear it. Obviously, I had the live stream going.
Some very work
Just
there,
as
isn't
well
it?
as say,
God.
well, I'd hate to tell you, but you've actually got less hair than you think. This guy was like, what?
So now I smooth it a bit. Make it a bit younger.
Oh, that's the word, younger.
And what about these pictures on the paper?
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Take advantage.
Got some bloody work there. Some work there.
You're never going to get an exact likeness in 2
Oh,
hours,
no.
but
No.
you get the character.
And this minor, it will be hollow, won't it?
Yeah. So will these. These are hollow.
Yes.
So you see underneath, just about the same side
Yeah.
of them, it's hollow.
Hold
These
on.
are very heavy. I mean, it's a heavy bronze.
God.
You see how they've grown in size over the. Look at that, it's twice the size. So they're going to have to start with the small ends and then end up in.
Uh-huh.
I've got different shaped heads, so I
Yeah. Very marvellous. Very marvellous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Got 'em? Marvellous.